Stage fright?
Maybe.
Yeah, like what color is it?
That's where I'm gonna be like, damn, like all the stories I have, and then all of a sudden I'm gonna be all,
Yeah, like your Boston one, which is fun.
yeah.
That was really it.
You know, I have a funny story about Tanya too. In Vegas.
Please share. Hey, I told her, be prepared if you might come on, and she's like, yeah, I'm good. My daughter also.
Oh, so
Yeah.
she said she's coming on for the next episode.
Yeah.
She's gonna come.
Yeah, we're gonna get her on here.
Who? Oh yeah, I know. I told her be prepared. Oh no,
Yeah.
And she's like a natural, like
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm guessing she gets it from you.
Yeah, you'll be natural. I think you'll be good.
Oh yeah, and I'm telling you that people, they're like, dude, you're hella cool the first time off the gate, and then I just start saying like just in conversation, and
Just
they're like,
random stories and you get it going. That's all a podcast is. It's getting your story going and then
Yeah.
figuring out like, okay, was it a good story to tell or not? That's it.
hey,
So I see that you're wearing a
Yeah, are you really a Yankees fan?
huge.
Okay. Okay. So
All right, I don't want to record no more. Let's start.
Wait,
I'm just
well, we
kidding.
can
I'm a
get-
Dodger fan.
Oh, so
Die hard.
he hates the
that's why I was like, wait, I'm gonna. There's little takes here where I was
We're the
like,
original. We're the original New York team.
No, we're gonna get that deep into it.
We're the Brooklyns.
Wait. Okay.
What happened?
We're doing it.
Gubby. He wanted tequila.
He wants tequila. Damn, had I known, I would have brought a bottle. Cheers.
Cheers.
If I would have known, it's all right. You don't need. He don't need tequila because then he gets all wild.
He'll wild out.
But it's fucking cold. It's fucking cold. But yeah, Yankees. Yeah, it's better than a Giants fan in my eyes.
I mean, you know what though? I like all teams. I'm trying to go to all the stadiums.
Okay.
I'm halfway there.
Really? How many teams is there?
30. Fuck, is there 32? Because football, I'm confused. 30
Yeah,
for
I don't know how
football?
many teams. There's quite a few.
I'm gonna Google it
Yeah.
in case they ask me how many
Who's our
baseball
Googler?
stadiums.
Yeah, who's our fact checker?
Hey, you guys come when they ask me something. You guys come and then just be like signals.
Danny should have had a whiteboard for you.
Show all the answers.
So
will
you're
be there.
definitely not a bandwagon. You
No. So I started following
That one warmed
since
me up.
Derek Jeter got drafted from Michigan State because that's where he's originally. 30. Okay.
30. Okay, so you've gone to at least 15 of the stadiums.
So you've done half stadiums already.
Yeah.
Oh.
Interesting enough, I haven't gone to Dodgers. Not for no particular reason.
You're like, fuck the
And it's
Dodgers.
weird. No. It's because, and it's here in California. Just because remember back when the guy with the whole, remember that
Yeah, the
fight?
Giants. Yeah.
I got scared after that. I was like, but then now, it's a whole other dynamic. And
Yeah, true. I mean, it's still a ghetto stadium, but yeah, it's nice. It's a nice stadium.
No. Yeah.
Fans, we're not the greatest.
You know what, though? It might be for a good turnaround now that they got the new guy
The Asian dude.
from the Angels.
Yeah. I can't pronounce his name.
Yeah.
The guy from Japan. Actually, we have a whole Japan team.
Who's our Google facts checker?
We got 5.
Like,
No, really.
We got 5 players.
Like $700 million.
Yeah, he got a crazy deal.
Yeah. So that might change your dynamic of fans.
Well, they posted a photo, right? And it's
Yeah.
well, we got 4 more Asian players, right, from Japan.
I heard.
And they're like, someone said, "Welcome to Dodger Stadium." It's them, and then it's the K-pop people singing, the Koreans. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's cool. All the stadiums.
And then now I started football also. Though I think for football I have not many, like 5, 6. But
Yeah.
I'm going to focus more on baseball first and get that out of the way.
Get it out of the way.
So
yeah.
I'm going to try to do 5, maybe 10 stadiums this coming season. I just had the idea this past season, and so was able to go to 5. And so now I just have to take the time to map it out. Because, like, for instance,
What's the farthest stadium you've been to? New York?
New York.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Then I went to Boston. Well, last year when we went to Boston was supposed to, but then Aerosmith was playing that weekend. It was the whole story.
Yeah.
Why'd you go to Boston for the game?
It was so originally I always wanted to go to Boston, and my daughter's birthday's on the 1st. My birthday's on the 5th of September. Aerosmith, who I've always wanted to see, was going to be there that weekend. I thought, perfect. My daughter has a friend who lives there. I was like, do you want to go? She said, yeah, let's go. And when we went, she said, you know what, my friend might be down to go. So get there, and then it didn't work out, which I was fine with it. I was like, fine. Boston was not playing, but I still went, walked the whole, it's pretty nice. And they're our biggest rivals, but still a nice stadium. I want to go back to go watch a game. Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. But there's a whole other story to it.
The wild side of it?
We were there for 5 days.
5 days in Boston?
5 days, no plans. I know we wanted to go to Maine. Yeah.
You just winged it?
I usually do that. I mean,
that's true. I never really have a set schedule when I go anywhere.
Like if you ever traveled, you know. I mean, I knew the points of places I wanted to go. I wanted to go to Maine, but then I realized Maine was a 4-hour bus ride.
Oh shit!
Or you could Uber it or train. I believe there was. So I had asked my daughter, and she said, "Yeah, we can figure out which day." The moment we landed, it was a whole other story for the good. For the good.
Danielle Martini Glass Malone.
Are you?
Nah, you're not gonna answer. I'm not gonna answer. Go back to it. Sorry, I never went to this.
So we didn't. It just all the plans changed the first day we got there. Literally put our bags down at the hotel. Called our friend who lives there.
Yeah.
And so we went to go meet her. She took us to the Adams, that brewery, Samuel Adams.
Okay.
Went there, met her there right after. The girl still had her work clothes. Went with my daughter. We went to dinner, and then she said, "You know what? I'll take you guys around." You know, she took us to Little Italy. We go have dinner, and then we were walking by, just kind of sightseeing. We come across a cigar bar, and so I'm like, oh, damn, you know, my daughter, her friend. Is it okay if I just go buy a cigar? You know, I know it's going to smell in there. You guys don't want to. And her friend said, actually, we want to go. A lot of people do.
I love the smell. I love the smell of cigar smoke.
Well, even after?
I hate weed smoke.
Okay, what about...
Just look at everyone. What about after? Look at everyone. I love the smell of weed, but I do not like the not the smell of smoke, but like the linger after. You know, like when you're done smoking,
even on
the odor after.
Even on your...
Well, you know what? Cigars, I don't like the smell. So for a woman, it stays in your hair, like smelling.
Yeah. It's
like you'll wash your hair twice, and then the next day it still smells.
There, right?
Clothes, like it's just all bad.
So it's every once in a like.
No. I'm not a regular smoker. No. So for sure, it started where every year on my birthday I would buy a cigar.
Yeah.
And then I met a friend who owns his own cigar bar, which is a whole other story. So since then, that weekend it was my birthday, and so I told her, look, I'll just go by, and they go, no, actually we want to go see what it's like, and I'm like, okay, if you guys can't deal with the smoke, we'll leave. And so we go there, and they're like so cute. They're like, it's so
Danielle Martini.
It's fine, you know. And so we order drinks.
She wants to be on the podcast.
Nah, they're fine. Go on with the show.
So anyway, so then we go. It's just us three. We get a drink. And then the friend has to go because she has to go to work the next day. We were there probably about 45 minutes. While we were there's a whole table next to us with like a party of like 10, like guys and girls. So I just assumed they were all couples. So my daughter, her friend has to go. So she says, I'm going to walk my friend out to her Uber's here. So I'm like, yeah, good. I'll be here. In the midst while she's gone, the whole party leaves and 2 guys stay. And I'm just, minding my business, drinking my drink. And one of the guys comes over, and he looks a little bit rough. And he says, do you mind? Are you here by yourself? And I'm like, oh, shit. I'm in Boston. Like, no, my daughter's here. She went to go walk her friend. He said, do you mind if we sit here? I'm like, damn. Like, no, it's fine. Go ahead. They go sit there. My daughter comes back, and she kind of looks like, what is going on here? I'm like, oh, these are... our new friends, And you could tell she's like, all right. So we sit there, and I thought, okay, well, we're at a cigar bar,
Is the ambience? How's the ambience in there? Like, I've never been personally into a cigar lounge, so is there like really smoky, or do they have events going?
It depends where you go. If you go, like that was a really nice one. So the vents, you don't see no smoke lingering. If you go like to a lower scale one, where they don't have good like air ventilation. Yeah, it's kind of bad. But there it was fine. It just looked like they're really dark in there where you could barely even see.
Okay, that kind of
yeah, it was. They had about 10 tables. Then they had a cigar room, which, because I had never been there, I didn't really notice. I was more kind of like my surroundings, we don't know nobody there. We had just got there.
No, definitely. And it's Boston.
And it's Boston. Yeah, you hear. Yeah.
I think I've only seen like stories about like Boston, but I mean like.
Well, my favorite movie is The Town.
Right? Yeah.
So
The Town is bad.
That's
what I was gonna reference, like me in my head, Boston.
Oh no! So that's where I got in the back of my mind. I want to go to Boston. So that story comes into play later on with these people. So I had it's all mob. It's ran by the Italian mafia and all. So anyway, so my daughter comes. We sit down, and I'm kind of nervous now because I'm like, damn, what you always tell your kids to not do is now happening. So my daughter, you could tell, is kind of like, okay. But then she started talking to, one of the guys. And so then all of us, it was just, you can't even make this up. So we're like just hanging out. Then the waitress comes and she knows the guy by his name. And she's like, hey, is everything good or do you need more drinks? He goes, no, bring all of us drinks. So I thought, okay, well, the waitress knows them, they're known. Then this girl comes, taps on the guy who looks kind of rough on his shoulder, and she's whispering, and he's like, I'll be back. And I'm like, oh no, this is where we die. This is where it just goes
like he
south.
looked rough in like what way?
Like he just looked like he was the Italian mafia, like the mob. He just looked like that. And I was like, oh, who sent these people? And they know we're not from here. So he's just asking, why are you here? Like, what brought you, and then I explained the whole thing. But nobody's saying who they are, what they do, nothing. So then he comes back and he says, I got to ask you, since this was your table, I have 2 more people that are here. Do you mind? And I'm like, well, fuck, at this point, I didn't even want you 2 here. But so here comes a man who looks like he's about 70 with a girlfriend who's in her 20s. And
living the fucking life.
So I'm like, now who are these 2? The girl really cool off the bat. Nobody's still saying who they are. Yeah. They sit down and then they're like, yeah. So then another person comes. And so now it's like a big group, and then they're like, yeah, get us more drinks. And then he said, do you want another cigar? Like whatever you want, just order it, and I'm going to take care of it. So we get another drink, and then he says, you know what? Actually, let me show you. He tells me, come here, I want to show you something in the room. And I'm all, I ain't going.
They're not going to no back room?
And then he's like, no. You know what? Actually, let's all go. And I was like, well, what is it? And he goes, oh, that's where we keep our cigars. So I'm like, oh, great. Now this is going downhill from here. So we all get up, and then the waitress comes right away, and she goes, oh, yeah. So we go into this room. It's probably like around this size, and it's all boxes all the way around. And then they stand up, and they're like, oh, give me the key, and they start unlocking. And they just start bringing out all these cigars. The girl comes, the waitress, and then the one guy, the one that looks rough, he's like, get everybody more drinks. And at this point, I'm like, damn, this guy's just buying and buying. Yeah. And then they bring out bags of just cigars, and then they're like, hey, then they're just like saying their own conversations. And I'm like, this is just really interesting. So the young girl gets a call, and she says, hey, we got to go to the older guy. And then he's like, what's going on? So I guess her friend, it was her last day of work. So she was a bartender. So she wanted to go say goodbye the last drink. And she said, you know what? Actually, everybody come. Let's all go. And I was like, okay, no. So the guy who I originally met, he's like, you know what? You and your daughter, you guys come with me. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, we're not going with you. There's no way we're getting in a car with the stranger we just met. So anyway, then the girl says, well, what's the problem? I said, honestly, I don't know none of you. And she said, you know what? You guys can come with me. All the guys can go, but don't worry, you're good. So anyway, we go to this bar, and then again, it's just wild.
That's wild itself. The girl is just like taking you under her wing. Yeah. And like, just cool. Like, hey, so, like, so it's okay. Then I find out she's my daughter's age. She's like 23, 24. And I'm like, damn, what are you doing with that? Anyway, so we go there. It's a great time. So now it's like
She was a sugar baby for sure.
For sure. 1, 2 in the morning, and then they're like, well, what else do you guys want to do? And I'm like, well, we actually haven't ate. They're like, you're hungry? You know what? We're going to go and call up the Chinese restaurant. We're opening up. Now we're walking to Chinatown. I'm like, you guys, it's like 1, 2 in the morning. They're like, oh, no, they'll open it for us. Full-blown meal at 1, 2 in the morning in Chinatown. Shit. And they knew these people. So we're all sitting there. I'm like, okay, well, these people must know everybody. So then more people are like coming into the, festivities.
So about this point, how many people?
There's probably about 7, 8 of us. Then this young guy shows up and he's like, you know what? I just live right here in this high rise. Let's go up there. At that point, I'm like, so what's the worst at this point? Like, it can't get any worse. It could not get any worse. So she's like, it's right here. They have the door guy, everything. We walk in there, go up there. No shit, it's a full-blown penthouse. And in my head, I'm like, you're in your 20s. Like, how are you living? I just have so many questions.
Yeah, you're just like,
then
what the fuck?
Did you ask one question? Or
I did. Oh, no, I ended up. So then another man shows up, and I'm like, where's this one? He goes, oh, yeah, I just got off of work and this and that. And I'm like, all right, I got questions. Like, how do you own this place? And then he's like, yeah, it's my place. I live here by myself. Beautiful, like, views of the city and everything. So then the girl says, oh, yeah, he's like, he started his own business of some sort. The guy has money.
Yeah.
Really nice, beautiful views. So at that point, the last guy who showed up there, I was like, you just got off of work, so what do you do? And then they just laughed. I'm like, what does everybody do here? Like, I'm like, at this point.
You.
At this point, I'm like, I just got to find out. So the older man with the young girl, they're like all looking at each other and like, all right, we're just going to say it. And he even brings out a business card because at that point, I think they were like, so he was the mayor of Boston. The last guy that showed up was the chief of police for homicide for Boston. The one that just got off. The young girl, well,
she's a sugar baby. She was just
yeah. So then he's
like, here's my strip club.
Well, there was a whole other. You just reminded me of that story. Yeah. So that's what. Yeah. Pretty much.
Hey, we should go to Boston.
Yeah.
So then,
can we go with you? Can you make these phone calls?
So then the guy that was, rough looking, and I'm like, and what about you? So he's like, oh yeah, I fly back and forth. So I live here. And I live in Connecticut, and I have a house in Miami also. Like, I just flew in this morning. I'm like, what in the hell?
Yeah.
So he's like, so he kept saying, like, so what are your plans for the week? I'm like, I don't know. We're just, kind of whatever we do. What do you want to do? I'm like, I want to go to Maine, but I guess it's a 4-hour train, ride. So the older man with the young girl, now it's getting late. It's like literally 3, 4 in the morning. I'm like, my daughter's out this hour. Like, it's all everything that should have never happened.
Your mom instinct kicked in. Like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, like we need to go to bed. And mind you, we had left, San Francisco early. It was just a long day.
Long trip.
So, so now they're like, so now that everybody has said what they do, I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's why everywhere we went, we got like all this treatment.
You're like, that's why I don't like that guy, the mob guy.
Yeah. No, and that was the cool.
I know. Yeah, that's probably the coolest one.
The rusty or
the guy rough around the edge is the rough one.
The rough.
Yeah. I'll show you guys a picture. Okay. So you can see the whole. So
and the stripper.
But he kept saying, we got that one too. Okay. So he just kept saying, like, what are your plans though? What are you gonna do tomorrow? So anyway, so then the older guy with the young girl, at the end of the night, he said, you know what? Actually, I have a house in Martha's Vineyard, which is like a rich area in the Maine area. So he said, you know what? We're taking you guys tomorrow. And I was like, I think right now, because we've been drinking, I'm like, oh, yeah. And the girl said, I'll call you in the morning.
Yeah.
So we got an Uber. My daughter and I left. We went to the room. Wake up in the morning around 10, 11 from a phone call from her.
Okay, and what was your feeling when you were like?
So as soon as my daughter, so first of all, when we got to the room, I told my daughter, everything I've ever told you to do, we did today. Don't ever do that. It's just, these people were legit, and
you should have what not to do.
So
you lucked out on the people you were with.
Oh, no. Yeah. So I was like, I don't think, she's like, you think we're going to Maine tomorrow? I'm like, I don't think so. Like, I don't think we're ever going to see these people again.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. We know that.
So go to bed. We wake up by a phone call. Now, mind you, this was only like a few hours of sleep, and it's that girl on the phone. And she said, what time do you guys, he wants to know if you guys will be ready by 11. I'm going to go pick you guys up. And like, what are we doing? She goes, we're going to Maine. We have a house there. Like, we're going to go. And I'm like, she goes, I'll be there by 11. No kidding. She shows up at 11, and here we go. We drive to Maine. On the way there, because of who he was, that's when because now it's just them two, and I'm like, I got so many questions. I'm one of those people, I will ask all the questions that people want to know. I'll ask them.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got a question, because the movie The Town, I'm like, is Boston really ran by the unions?
Yeah.
Is it? And he's like, oh no, it's still true. That is still true till this day.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm like, I want to hear a story.
Should ask where Jimmy Hoffa was.
He probably knew.
Yeah, he probably knew where he was buried at. He's somewhere.
I'm like,
somewhere.
I bet you have a lot of stories. And he told us one story, and I was like, yeah, it's all ran by who you know. And if you are a police officer, you're in charge. Like, that's all it has to be, and people will disappear.
Yeah.
It's what it's like. So anyway, we get to Maine. They take us. It's beautiful. It was a good time.
You get lobster?
Yeah, lobster roll. The best lobster roll I ever had in my life. So good. Yeah. So we go do all that. He had the house there. My daughter's like, you know what? I'm not feeling this. I want to go back. And I'm like, we don't have a car. Like,
you're like, how the fuck are we gonna get home? How the fuck are we gonna get home?
She's like, I want to go. And then the girl, because I'm like, okay, well, now I guess me and you are gonna have to get an Uber and go home, because that's her man.
Yes.
And then I don't know what happened between them two, and she's like, I want to go with you guys. And I'm like, oh god, now we're starting a whole
now you gotta
like problems over here.
Yeah.
And
you got a girl pack going.
Yeah, they kind of. She goes, I want to go hang out with you guys, and I'm like, oh, all right. So we get an Uber, we come back, and it was quite a ride. So anyway, we go back, and I'm thinking it's been a long day. We're gonna go to bed. I get a call from Rough Guy, and he's like,
Rough Guy,
what are you guys doing tonight? I'm like, actually, we're coming back from Maine. And he's like, we're meeting again today. And I was like, I don't know, we're with the girl. And he's like, yeah, you got to ditch her. We can't hang out with her because that's my boy's girl.
Yeah.
Like, that's not cool. I'm like, I understand, but at the same time, in my head, I'm like, we don't.
With.
Yeah, but I'm not going to go to hang out with you with just us two. I'm like, hey, she's with us, take it or leave it. He goes, you know what? All right, we're all hanging out. Hang out again. Another 3 in the morning hanging out.
Yeah.
He's like, have you had pasta here? I'm like, yeah, we did the first night. And he's like, I can call my friend. He owns a little restaurant. We'll shut down the place. And you girls go. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. He took us bar hopping again. And he's like, what are you guys doing tomorrow? And I'm like, oh, God, this is like the never ending story.
Yeah.
I'm like, we don't have any plans, but we kind of want to do our own sightseeing. He's like, call me, go do your sightseeing. So my daughter and I did. We did our own, just walking.
You didn't do the hop on, hop off bus?
No, we just did our own. We just went, just walked. He said, you're in a good area of Boston, so you guys are good. You guys can walk. You'll be safe. We walked till about 8 o'clock at night. Calls again the third night. He's like, what are you guys doing? And I'm like, oh, we're hanging out with the girl again. Because in the evenings, she would take us to her local bars with her friends. So third night again, and I'm like, oh, we're with the girl again. He goes, you can't do that because I don't want my friend to find out. And this, I'm like, hey, she's with us. Like, take it or leave it. He's like, okay, I'm going to send you an address. Come to the house. And I'm like, oh, now we're going to somebody's house. Like, he's like, you guys can go to Connecticut with me. I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah,
no.
we're not going that far.
We're not doing
done
that.
here.
We are not doing that.
We're going back.
Yeah, we're done. We're done with
I
this
told
trip.
her, like, is it cool? Like, and then she goes, no, he's a really nice guy. Like, you're good. Okay, let's go. I never said to her, the second day I did, because I think she kind of overheard the conversation. And I'm like, you got to understand, and it's not nothing towards you. It's just, And so, but she's like, cool, I'll go with you guys. We go there, and it's his friend's house. Really nice, really cool place. So we were all just kind of hanging out. They had all the drinks and everything, just chilled. So at that point, another friend comes, like 2 other friends, and I noticed that they're all wearing, like, you know how the Mexicans have the gold chain, but with the coin?
Okay,
This is an
No,
Irish.
they had the Irish. They had the Irish, and I was like,
That affordably close?
I'm like, that is huge, and I was like, that is really cool. And I kind of was like, and the guys are, hey, you don't touch somebody's the little
pendant.
Yeah. And I was like, what does that mean? Because you guys are all wearing that. And the rough guy, he's like, he was like, oh, that's because that's like a symbol, like And then I was
Irish
like,
mob.
well, so that's what it was. So
Yeah.
then they're like, okay, just go ahead and explain it to her. So apparently his family was like back in the day, like the original mob for Boston. And I was like, oh, dear God.
The rough guy.
Yeah,
The rough guy. Yes. His family was the original people for the mob. Yeah, and he goes, till this day, it has really ran. So apparently there, when they elect mayors or anything into office, it's not like we do, like here we all vote. Oh no, they're like, okay, you're
next.
up, you're up.
Next. You're
and
next.
that's the way it is. He goes, and nobody asks any questions. And if you do, guess what? they won't find you anymore. They won't find you.
You'll be with Hoffa somewhere. For sure.
For sure.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, no,
he probably knew. That guy
he
probably
was
knew.
saying stories, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to ask anymore because now he's going to think, who are you? Like, did
Yeah.
someone send you to coolest people? Then the last, the second to the last day. Again, what are you guys gonna do? Like every night, he's like, I got plays. I'm like, look, we gotta like I fine and dandy, but like
Yeah.
I'm with my daughter. Like, no, we're gonna do our own thing.
So-
last night.
If your daughter wasn't there, would you have done all this?
Yeah.
No, I would.
Yeah, Tanya's like, yeah.
I would have. Hands down. Tanya's hung out with me plenty
I
of
would have been in
times.
Connecticut. I would.
But I was more like, but you know what? It was quite the experience because just think of it. Us,
No, definitely.
All
Yeah.
of us going to any city as a regular tourist, you do the regular.
Yep.
Like if you went to San Francisco, or you go do, the bridge, Pier 39. That's what we all think of doing. So I had my ideas of where to go, but they took us to whole other
Sites.
we met great people.
Yes.
So much fun. And my daughter said, like on our way back from the trip, she said, you've always said stories of where I'm like, she can't even make this shit up. And she's like, and I lived it. I literally lived what you
That's
always.
a fucking amazing
Yeah.
story, honestly.
So much fun. So I didn't end up going to Aerosmith just because, they didn't want to go.
Yeah.
But it was fine because instead I met all these people.
definitely.
Till this day, we're in contact. Boston guy, the rough guy, we exchanged numbers and he'll like every so often call me and he's like, oh yeah, I'm in Miami. Like, I need to go to California. Like, I want to go wine tasting. I'm like, whenever. Nicest guy ever. Cool. All of them cool people, really humble people. We never spent any money. They were paying for everything.
It's the best. That's the best trip.
Yeah. But I mean, we weren't.
You
trying
wanna
to-
buy my ticket
It
home?
was just.
You wanna buy my ticket home?
So would you say that was it just a conversation that you just had with them that you just let them sit on your table? What do you think it was like?
You know what? I've always been asked that. Like, how do you meet the people? I'm telling you, I have stories for days. I just think that I draw people maybe by my energy because I'm not one of those that I'm like smiling at people from across.
It's like, ooh, the fuck is this bitch?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, Tanya.
I'll like literally be
I feel like that's the look you were giving out.
I don't know.
Probably rolled your eyes when they asked you to sit at the table. You're like, ugh,
No.
yeah,
I
guess.
was more scared, but I was thinking in my head, I can't show that fear.
Yeah.
Because when they walked up, my first thought was, they're gonna say like, "Who are you? Like, why are you here?" Like,
Yeah.
and but they were really nice, and I just thought, well, damn, okay. I'm like, but when my daughter walked up, the look on her face was kind of like, what is going like?
Yeah.
We gotta go. We gotta go.
I mean, but they were really
Yeah.
nice people. But it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Even with the mob?
No, that's not.
There's not that too many rough guys. A lot
but
of your stores.
I told them about the movie The Town, and they just laughed and they're like, that's real shit.
Yeah.
And they said that the movie was whoever it was originally based on. That was part of his family.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's one of the best movies. Hands down.
Hands down. I see that movie at least 50 times a year. And it still doesn't get old. Still does not. And I did my bucket list off of that. And yeah.
Nice. The best part of that movie is when they have the mask and they take it off and they look at the cop and he just turns away. Turns to the shoulder.
Exactly. Hey, that was exactly me that week. I was like, I'm just going to mind my business.
You're like, fuck.
I mean, I know I could have asked so many more questions, but I thought, you know what? I don't want them at this point to be
You don't
like.
even want to know. You just want to.
Yeah.
No, I did want to know, but I don't want them to now think like, why are you asking all these questions? But
Yeah.
it was just the car ride to Maine. Crazy stories, and I was just like, "Tell me more."
Recording with your phone? Yeah, tell me more.
Yeah,
tell
hell
me
no.
more.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
How long was that car drive? Like
Yeah,
2
I was gonna
hours?
ask.
2 hours?
I think
plus?
it
What
was
the
like
difference?
2.5 hour drive. Yeah, it was like two.
Yeah. 'Cause I figured a 4 hour
it
train
was
was probably half.
it was a beautiful. I don't know if you guys ever been to the East Coast. Beautiful.
East Coast, yes, but not me or Boston.
It's just all green. It's beautiful, like forest.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is there Amish?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
When we went to New York, I went for a wedding out there in like upstate New York, and we saw so much Amish. We were so confused, and everyone was so nice.
Right, they are.
They're like, yeah, you could come over here, because we stayed at a lake house right there, and it was the closest place next to the wedding was in the middle of nowhere in a castle. Super nice, but the neighbors are like, oh well, yeah, you can walk through our yard to go on the dock and a whole bunch of stuff, and me and them were like, we're okay. Yeah. Yeah, the dog just roaming the whole neighborhood, just trying to come in the house. Like, what the fuck? But yeah, they're nice over there in the East Coast. Well, depending where.
Right. No, it depends. But everybody's pretty. There's areas, but no, for the most part, everybody's pretty cool. When we went to Maine, everybody was so nice.
Yeah.
Really, really nice people. Really, total different. Lobster, best lobster I've ever had, and that was my goal. I wanted to go have lobster. We did.
That's the thing to do in Maine. That's,
Yeah.
I could never. I'm allergic to shellfish.
We had to
Oh.
do Boston.
Yeah, that's death to me.
Oh no, you have to go. Oh no, I'm like I want to go again. No, it's.
We'll go.
And my
I want to
daughter-
go with you.
Yeah,
I want to go with you. Make those phone calls.
I'm telling you, I could arrange everything because I still talk with the girl. And
I want to go to that cigar lounge. I love smoking cigars.
Oh yeah, it was it was
Well, there's
like
drinks, so.
it was in their like Little Italy location,
Yeah.
and it was a really because he asked me earlier like how was the
'cause I've
smoke
never
in there?
been
You
in
could
one.
tell.
Yeah.
You could tell
Oh,
when
you
it's a
never been to
nice
cigar
one,
lounge?
or
Yeah.
you could tell when it's like a little bit of a dumpier one. That was definitely a really nice one.
Yeah.
They were serving wine, mixed drinks, and then the cigars.
Yeah, so only in California they don't have alcohol with cigars. That's a
Oh, I didn't
California
know
law.
that. Okay.
There's only 3 in California. I've been to 2. The third one's like in Modesto, Madera, or
T was
somewhere
trying
in
to-
Stockton, I think. I
He was
won't go
gonna be
there.
the fourth one.
Yeah, I did have a liquor license.
So if you ever go to a different city or state, do you try to find a cigar bar?
Yeah, well, I've been to every cigar lounge in California.
How many is there?
There's fucking a lot. Well, I started, me and my buddy
That's
Jimbo,
cool.
we went to, that was our thing. Every weekend we go to a new one. We'd drive to it, fuck it. Or when we would go watch some fights in LA, San Diego, yeah. So I know,
That's a lot of cigar bars for sure.
yes. Yeah, there's a lot.
Okay.
And there's nothing near, like, so I almost opened my own, but
Yeah.
COVID
That's,
hit.
don't say I almost. I feel like that's next for you.
Nah,
I mean-
I had it going. I had a building and everything, but then COVID hit and kind of they changed all the laws again for California, so it put a real impact on. what I
Because
had
now
to-
you can't have with flavor, right? The cigars with flavor. I don't think you
Oh yeah,
can.
yeah, you can't have tobacco flavor. Yeah, that's like the menthols and all that. Yeah.
Well, no, because before I would ask, like you know how they had like the vanilla or like coffee, and they're like, we can't do those no more.
Yeah, because of vape.
But that's weird because it's a cigar. I don't know. It's a
Yeah,
cigar.
but they're trying to get rid of flavors because of the kids smoking vape. That's why
Oh,
got
so they
rid of it.
figure that'll be like the next thing
Yeah.
people will do.
I always tell people,
Gateway.
being an adult, smoke cigars. Smoke real tobacco, not flavored. Or, I don't know. That's my thing. But yeah,
Okay.
that's yeah. But California, we could get into that another time. But yeah,
That's a whole other topic.
That's a whole other. Yeah. But anyways, guys, welcome to 50 Shades of BS. That was our episode for today. Lily did a good job. This is our first one ever.
Thank you so much for
So
having me.
nervous. Sorry, I had to walk out. My mom texted me, and I'm a mama's
trouble.
boy. No, she
You're
like
in trouble.
called me. I was like, oh shit.
You're like, if I don't answer, mom's gonna keep calling.
Yeah. No, she texted me, so I was scared. And then,
There's nothing like a
Get your
mom
ass
text or
home.
call.
yeah, exactly. And we have Monkey here. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.